Okay, if you've ever been there, standing on that virtual stage, about to roll out some huge business news,
Oh, yeah.
like a massive merger, maybe a brand new product, or even a big internal shakeup. You know that feeling.
It's definitely high stakes.
Absolutely. It's like a high wire act.
Yeah.
And how you deliver that news, well, that's everything. It's the difference between making a real impact, getting everyone on board.
Or just watching it all fall flat. Total confusion.
Exactly. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you, well, kind of the ultimate cheat sheet.
A system.
Yes, our mission here is to boil down the key ideas from our sources into a solid 10-point system for prepping that announcement.
Think of it like laying the foundation. You have to do it before you even think about writing the press release.
And what we found really emphasizes that doing this strategically, this kind of communication, it's what builds trust. It cuts down confusion and it, creates that vital momentum both inside and outside the company.
And it's interesting because the prep phase, that's often where companies, especially the really busy ones, they try to cut corners.
Right. They jump straight to writing.
Exactly. They rush to craft that perfect message without really thinking through the consequences. And our analysis, it shows skipping even just one or two of these prep steps.
Yeah.
That's usually why you get immediate confusion internally.
And problems later on.
And serious credibility issues down the line during implementation. You can't afford to skip laying this groundwork.
Okay, so let's dig into that strategic foundation. First up, and it sounds simple, but it's crucial. What are you actually trying to do?
Defining the objective. Step 1.
Before you type a single word, you've got to be crystal clear on the goal. Is it mainly to, say, inform people about a new policy?
Or maybe persuade them. Get them to buy into a new strategy.
Or is it about getting immediate action? Like you need them to sign a new contract or download an important update right now?
And we really need to stress this. It has to go beyond those vague, feel-good goals like, let's raise general awareness.
Doesn't really mean anything.
Not in practice, no. Strategic goals, they have to be specific, and this is key, measurable.
Okay, give us an example.
Sure. Success isn't just, we announced the news. It's defining it as something you can actually track. Like maybe 80% of our employees electronically sign off saying they understand it within 48 hours.
Okay, that's concrete.
Or externally, maybe it's generate 500 qualified sales leads within 2 weeks of the announcement.
Yeah.
See, if you can't measure it, you've got no real way to know if your announcement actually worked.
That difference between just awareness and actual measurable action is huge.
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned a client merger where they set 3 clear objectives, segmented, right? First, inform employees about the timeline. Second, persuade customers that service would actually get better long term.
Important for retention.
And third, prompt their partners to review the updated contracts. That immediately tells you, okay, we're talking to different groups here, which leads us right into the next big step.
Exactly. Step 2. You absolutely must identify and, crucially, understand all those different audiences.
Right.
Because the audience, that dictates your tone, the channel you use, even the core message itself. You usually start by splitting them into internal.
Employees, management.
And external.
Customers, investors, the media.
Right. But like you just hinted at with the merger example.
It's not one size fits all, even within those groups.
Never. Take an acquisition, for instance. Your employees, they need operational clarity. Their first thought is, what happens to my job, my team?
While customers are thinking, okay, great, but how does this make things better for me? What are the benefits?
And then you have investors. They want the hard numbers. Projections, growth plans, how you're managing risk.
So if you just blast out the same generic press release to everyone.
You satisfy no one, maybe confuse everyone. Our research really confirms that customizing the message, even just tweaking it slightly based on what each group really cares about, it's non-negotiable if you want real impact.
Okay, so we know the goal, we know who we're talking to. Now the third piece of this foundation, who actually delivers the message?
The messenger, yes, step 3.
Because the authority behind the message matters just as much as the words, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's a minor operational tweak, maybe a VP of Ops is fine.
Sure.
But a big policy change, a merger, that needs to come from the top, usually the CEO.
Why is that so important?
It signals the seriousness, the commitment. If a major announcement gets delegated down to middle management, even if they're perfectly capable,
it sends a different message.
It immediately makes people inside wonder, how important is this really? Is it maybe not finalized? It can create doubt. The spokesperson needs 3 things. 1, direct knowledge of the subject.
Makes sense.
2, the authority to make decisions or commitments related to it.
Right. They can't just be reading a script.
And 3, critically, they need established credibility with that specific audience they're addressing.
Okay, that makes total sense. But let's be practical. The CEO's time is, incredibly valuable, right? Is there a danger of using that top-level authority too much? Or, using it for something that maybe doesn't pan out later?
That's a really good point, a crucial counterpoint. And that's why our sources often suggest using co-messengers, especially for complex or really technical news.
Ah, okay. Like pairing people up.
Exactly. Maybe the CEO delivers the high-level strategic vision. Here's why we're doing this, where we're going.
Sets the tone.
And then you pair them with, say, the head of the relevant department, maybe the tech lead, who can handle the deep, specific, operational questions.
That combines the authority with the actual expertise.
Precisely. It's a smart way to share the communication load without losing any credibility.
Okay, so shifting from the who and why to the what, the message itself. Step 4 is where I think a lot of announcements stumble, clearly articulating what is changing.
Yes, and this is where we need to be ruthless about cutting out the corporate jargon.
The buzzwords.
Exactly. Your stakeholders shouldn't need a decoder ring to figure out what you're actually saying.
Right.
This point is just so fundamental, but we see it missed all the time. Instead of saying something like, we are synergizing our core competencies to optimize our organizational structure.
Size. Just tell me what's happening.
Just say it plainly. We're combining the marketing and sales departments into one team. It starts Monday. Clarity leads to action. It reduces fear.
And that clarity needs to be thorough, right? Our sources stress there are 4 core details you absolutely have to cover.
The 4 Ws, basically.
What exactly is changing when it actually takes effect? Where it applies, is this global or just one region?
Crucial detail.
And who is affected by this change? If you leave any of those hanging.
Ambiguity is your enemy here.
Yeah.
That vacuum. It gets filled instantly with rumors, anxiety, negative speculation.
Okay, so you've clearly stated what's changing. The very next breath almost needs to be step 5, explaining the reason behind it, the why.
Yes, the why. This context, this is arguably the single biggest factor in shifting people from resistance.
Which is natural.
Totally natural.
Huh.
Shifting them from resistance to actual support. People push back on change when they think it's just arbitrary or they don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, I often see companies kind of struggle here. They might try to spin a tough financial necessity as some kind of exciting strategic growth initiative. Where do they usually fall short on transparency?
They fall short when they disconnect the decision from the outside world, from reality. Real leadership means linking that change to actual, unavoidable business factors.
Like what?
Like maybe evolving customer needs, disruptive trends in the industry, or sometimes it is the financial reality of scaling up or down. You have to connect those dots for people.
So don't just say we're pivoting.
No. Say we're pivoting because our market research shows 60% of our key clients now demand cloud-based solutions, and our current setup just can't deliver that effectively. Use the data.
So sharing that specific data point or that market trend, it makes it feel less like an internal whim and more like a necessary response.
Exactly. It replaces that internal defensiveness or skepticism with external credibility. It shows the leadership team is making thoughtful, informed choices based on real intelligence.
Okay, that strategic context really sets the stage for the more logistical side of things. Let's move into the execution phase now. Step 6 feels critical for managing nerves. Share the timeline and key milestones.
Absolutely. Announcing a change without a clear roadmap, that's just inviting anxiety and uncertainty.
So what does a good roadmap look like?
Well, it needs to be phased so you don't overwhelm people. You should outline the immediate actions like what needs to happen in the first 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, the urgent stuff.
Then short-term milestones. What should people expect to see achieved within, say, the first 30 days?
Right.
And then the longer-term implementation goals, maybe 90 days out, 6 months out, whatever fits the project.
And one thing our research kept highlighting was building in buffer time.
Oh, absolutely essential. Because, let's be honest, real-world projects, they rarely stick perfectly to the plan.
Something always comes up.
Always. If a project looks like it'll take 6 months on paper, you probably need to budget at least, I'd say, a 20% or even 30% buffer for those unexpected hiccups. System snags, training taking longer, maybe a regulatory delay.
And the communication needs to reflect that possibility.
Yes. Be honest about the planned phases, but also be transparent that timelines might shift slightly. Managing expectations with a realistic phased rollout is way better than promising instant, perfect execution and then failing to deliver.
Right. Overpromising is deadly. Okay, so the timeline sets expectations. Step 7 gets to the heart of empathetic communication. Highlight the direct impact on every stakeholder group.
This is where you show you've thought about them. You have to proactively address how this change is going to affect their day-to-day work or their experience with your company.
And that means really tailoring it again, right?
Deeply tailoring it. For your employees, the focus has to be on things like job security, maybe new roles or responsibilities, definitely any new workflows, and crucially, the training they'll need.
And not just that they need training, but when and how they'll get it.
Exactly. For customers, you focus on the benefits, how service might improve, ensuring continuity. But you also have to be upfront and offer alternatives if maybe a feature they use is going away.
Ooh, that's a tough one, but necessary.
Very necessary. And for your partners or vendors, their message needs to be super specific about any changes to contracts, delivery schedules, how you'll collaborate going forward.
You want to minimize disruption for them to keep things smooth?
Absolutely. Secure their cooperation by being clear and proactive.
Okay, so you've explained the impact. Now you have to give them the tools to deal with it. Step 8. Provide resources and support channels.
Yes, you need robust, practical support ready to go the moment the announcement hits. The big goal here should be enabling self-service as much as possible.
Self-service, like what kind of things?
Comprehensive FAQs, definitely. Make them searchable. Try to anticipate the questions before they flood in.
Good FAQs are gold.
They really are. Also, dedicated help desks. Maybe a special phone line or email for announcement-related questions, and detailed training materials, think video tutorials, clear written guides, maybe checklists. Make them available 24/7.
And for really big changes, the volume of questions can be huge.
Exactly. That's where self-service tools become invaluable. Things like structured knowledge bases on your intranet or website, maybe even chatbots programmed to handle the most common scenarios.
Oh, interesting. AI support.
Yeah, it can really help manage the initial surge. And things like quick reference cards, simple PDFs, summarizing key changes. The key is making all this accessible through the channels people actually use. Intranet for staff, email, or dedicated web pages for customers.
Got it. Okay, final stretch. The last 2 steps are all about keeping things going, maintaining that trust. Step 9 is huge. Invite feedback and facilitate two-way communication.
So important. The announcement itself, that's not the end. It's really just the start of the conversation.
Right.
Opening up those channels for feedback, for questions, it can actually turn what might have been a bumpy rollout into something more collaborative. People feel heard.
So what are the best ways to do that?
Well, you need robust and immediate channels. Maybe deploy quick pulse surveys right after the announcement, just to get an initial read on sentiment.
Okay, quick temperature check.
Schedule virtual town halls or Q&A sessions where people can ask questions directly to leadership or experts.
Live interaction.
And set up dedicated monitored channels, like a specific Slack channel or an email address, just for questions about this change.
Now, you mentioned earlier something about a 24-hour response window. That sounds incredibly tough during a big launch. Is that really feasible or even necessary?
Well, it's necessary for building and maintaining trust. And that's the real currency here. You don't necessarily need the full, final, perfect answer within 24 hours.
Okay, that's a relief.
But you absolutely must acknowledge the question or concern within that time frame. Even if it's just, hey, thanks for your question about X. We've got it. The team is looking into the specifics, and we'll post an update by tomorrow afternoon.
Ah, so it's about responsiveness, not necessarily immediate resolution.
Exactly. That simple acknowledgement prevents people from feeling ignored or like their concerns vanish into a black hole.
And this feedback, it has to be a loop, right? Like if you keep getting the same question over and over.
That's your signal. It means there was a gap in your original message or your resources.
So you use that data.
Absolutely. Use it instantly. Identify those weak spots. Update your FAQs, maybe send out a clarifying email or post. The first announcement, it's often just the first draft of the ongoing story.
Okay, makes sense. And finally, step 10, which feels like maybe the one most often forgotten once the initial dust settles. Plan follow-up communications and reinforcement.
Oh, definitely overlooked sometimes. Because a single message, no matter how brilliant it was, it's almost never enough to actually drive long-term change or ensure understanding.
People forget or get distracted.
Exactly. So the follow-up strategy needs to be planned out, scheduled, and pretty persistent, especially early on.
What does that look like?
It means regular updates. Maybe weekly at first while things are settling, then perhaps tapering off to bi-weekly once stability returns.
Oh, hey.
And it means relentless message reinforcement, using different channels. Put reminders in newsletters, use digital signs in the office if you have them, bring it up in team meetings. Every touch point is a chance to gently reiterate the core message, the timeline, the why.
So basically create a communication calendar, map out every single follow-up touch point, what needs to be said, who needs to track it.
Yes, exactly. That kind of structured, disciplined approach is essential. It ensures nothing falls through the cracks, and it helps maintain stakeholder confidence throughout the entire implementation journey.
Wow. Okay, so looking back at this whole 10-point system, the big takeaway seems crystal clear. A major business announcement. It's not just a single stressful event.
Not at all.
It's really a meticulously planned 10-step system. And doing that prep work, being that disciplined, that's what cuts down the anxiety, reduces the internal friction, and actually drives the organization forward with momentum into making the change successful.
And, if we connect this checklist back to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it really shows that truly strategic communication, it isn't defined by how slick your initial press release was.
Right.
It's defined by the organization's ongoing commitment to being responsive, to providing resources, to maintaining clarity long after the initial news breaks.
So the real work starts after the announcement.
In many ways, yes.
Yeah.
So as you're listening to this, maybe review this 10-point plan and think, which of these steps does your organization tend to overlook or rush through? Because that's almost certainly where your biggest risks, your biggest vulnerabilities are hiding.
That's a perfect and maybe slightly uncomfortable challenge to end on. Thank you for diving deep into this with us today.